part of me is appalled at the behavior of this government, and part of me is excited because I know that there's so much evidence for the first time in history. Now, we knew in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up. I'm 48 years old. We knew there was a lot of corruption. Matter of fact, I didn't even know about the Constitution or the details in the 80s when I was a teenager. I thought it was normal for the police, when they show up, for us to bow down and say, yes, sir, no, sir. And I just thought it wasn't a matter of innocence or guilt. It was just a matter that they ran things. The government ran things, and we were just to obey, because I just thought it was like a dictatorship. I thought that was what everything was. I thought that was the norm. I didn't know that we were supposed to have all this freedom through the Constitution. And that just goes to show you that actions speak louder than words. When you have a government that's suppressing the people, and they wave the Constitution around and say, hey, you still got the Constitution, but we're going to do whatever we want to do to you. You got no rights. That contradicts itself. Now here we are, fast forward decades into the future. I mean, decades into the future. What are we, like 30 some odd years in the future? And who would ever have guessed that the government would be so stupid to literally commit crime after crime after crime and to get caught? I'm talking about just the gang stalking. There's a lot of other crime in the government. You know, we got, what, $10 trillion in debt? Missing billions of dollars when Obama left office. I mean, we can go on a list that would reach around the earth up into the moon. But the gang stalking, people are on medication. People are delicate. People are frail. People are suffering. People are trying to live their lives, just trying to scrounge to get some food in their stomach, to have a nice, safe, warm place to lay their head. And you have the government that are supposed to be working for us, that are finally showing their true colors, finally showing us that that's not the way it works, that we actually serve them. Going out committing crimes against homeless people, against people in general, terrorizing people, traumatizing. You get into every crime has, this is why America was built, because you have the victim, but it's more than that. The victim isn't just a victim during the act of being victimized. They carry on trauma the rest of their lives, things they can never fix, things that will never heal. They're destroyed from within. These crimes that the government committed are not over. Even if the government pulls back and stops terrorizing the people, these people, I'm one of them, but these people, these victims, have to go on tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, carrying this trauma, which is going to affect their lives, every decision they make from now on. And the thing is that we've came a long way. In the 80s, we finally realized that it was okay for a man to cry. People do have rights. No one has the right to terrorize another person. We discovered this in the 80s, and now they're trying to roll it back into the dark ages. I don't get the logic in that. I don't see how criminals, I mean, I know they're going to roll this out on everybody they plan to. They're just trying to fine-tune it up. Now it's out. Cat's out of the bag. Nothing they do, and this isn't about me. This has nothing to do. I go to Hawaii and just never be heard from again. But there's so much crime that's already taken place. that we know, America, the government, is going to have to answer to it. It might take 3 years, it might take 8 years, it might take 10, but this stuff will reach the main public eventually. And we got to remember, they're going to put spins on it. They're going to set up all these traps and try to water it down. Victims of gang stalking, you need to videotape your assassins. You need to videotape the criminals. You need to keep lists of names of doctors that injured you that are in on it. Police officers, get their names. Firemen, get their names, their images. Then you can track them in the future. Let your friends know. Best idea is to go to a few churches and make a lot of good Christian friends. Write down the information, the evidence, put it inside of an envelope, and tell them not to open it unless something happens to you. Then in the future, you can actually, and it's good to keep tabs on everything, because eventually the victims are going to organize in a way where they can't be in one giant group, so the government can't just send a missile and blow them all up at the same time. They'll be spread out yet linked together, and they're going to backtrack all the criminals, and what's most important are the people that were in charge. If I'm the president of the United States and this stuff's going on, I'm responsible. You gotta be, you want to be the leader of the free world. You got to take responsibility when things go. You get the credit when things go good. You get the backlash when things go bad. Pete Wilson. We can go on of all the different people that played a part. If someone's guilty, then you arrest them and you give them a fair trial. That's how America works. Or you leave them alone. But if you're sneaking in their house, you're listening into their home, I don't care what law you think is supporting you. If it's in violation of the Constitution, it's non-void. End of argument. That's it. And the only reason they're able to get away with it to this point is only because 99.9% of the American people do not know this is happening. But eventually, the cell phone obsession and all this other high-tech obsession will begin to do the hypnotism, the hypnotized, the excitement will wear down, fade away, and people will be searching inside, what's going on, who am I, what do I stand for? And people are going to start realizing when they weigh things out that there's an awful lot of victims